Hi, long time no see. I'm alive. As you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to talk about the fact that I used my Kindle every day for a full 365 days. And this is what happened. So, last summer I was already using a Kindle Oasis and the battery was dying some and I wasn't loving my experience with it. And so I sold it and bought a Kindle Paperwhite that I absolutely love. I, as have said in this video, use it every single day. And I noticed that I was using it literally every day and I thought, oh, this is just the new thing energy, right? You get a new thing, you use it a lot for the first few weeks and then you kind of start to not use it a ton. But I told myself, I was like, no, I'm determined to get my money's worth out of this because it was a little bit of an impulse purchase. I didn't necessarily need to immediately buy a new Kindle, but I knew that time was coming. And so I decided instead of being forced into it and having my Oasis just die one day, I was like, let me just decide how my reading life is going to be and just take it on. This also is the time in which I started using Kindle Unlimited more heavily than I was before. I was already using it for about a year, but I had decided that I was going to really, really use it. And what I mean by that is prior to that, I was going on the website looking for any mid to upper list books that were coming from the publishers that had been on Kindle Unlimited for a little bit, because they often will put newer titles or really popular titles on there for a few weeks, maybe a month, and then afterwards they go away and then there's just indies there. I found my love of indie romance through this journey. I've always been a romance reader for the most part. When I first got on Kindle Unlimited, and I tell people when you're getting into Kindle Unlimited, it's kind of like trying beer or wine for the first time. You taste it and you're like, I either don't like this or you're like, this isn't bad, but it has to be better, right? And because there's so many different variations of beer and wine, you just kind of have to keep trying until you find what's right for you. I decided I was going to go on that journey. And so I found the corner of Kindle Unlimited that is for me. I have read a million hockey romances at this point and sports romance in general. Big fan of that. I have found cowboy romances and small town romances, things I didn't think I was going to be into, but ye fucking haw, give me a lasso, give me a 10-gallon hat. I'm here for it. Having the best time. So those are the positives that happened out of that. Obviously, with getting to use my Kindle every day, I was fitting more reading time in than ever, and I read more books than ever, which was a really great experience for the most part. But what I did find in the negatives was that on days when I had plans to step out of my apartment and live a life, I would find myself at 11:40 p.m. going, oh shit, I can't lose my streak, and would pick up my Kindle, read for 20 minutes, and forcing myself to stay awake when I wanted to go to bed and things like that. And so that was the negative side of that. I don't know that I would do this again, if I'm being honest. I think I would love to keep my weekly streak up, and that will definitely happen, but I don't like the pressure that I put upon myself to keep that 365 streak going. And there are people who do it with no problem. I think if I worked from home instead of having to go in the office, I could keep this up with less pressure, because on my days off, I take my dog outside, I come back in, I make coffee, I grab my Kindle, and I sit on the couch for 30 minutes and I read before I do whatever things are being asked of me that day, whether that's errands outside my apartment, cleaning, whatever. And if I could do that, if I worked from home, that would just be my morning routine. But since I don't really have time for that in the morning. And so I don't think it's realistic for me to keep doing that, because there are some days when I get off of work and I'm going to go hang out with my friends, or I'm going to go see some family members, or do anything, go to a concert, go to a ball game, and I don't want the pressure to continue to be there to be meeting this streak. The other thing that I had a really hard time with this, I did turn it into a positive about halfway through the year, but I was forcing myself to finish books just so I would meet my streak, if that made sense. Especially on the nights where it would be 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'm ready to go to bed, and I realized, oh shit, I haven't read anything. If I'm not enjoying the book, I wasn't then going to hunt for a new book to read and start. I was just making myself read a little bit more of that book that I wasn't enjoying just so I could hit the number, which is not a great experience. About halfway through the year, I got really good about figuring out whether or not a book was going to work for me and was able to DNF a lot quicker. And that has become a very precious part of my reading life. I am now so quick to DNF books because it doesn't mean that they're gone forever, right? Like the book isn't just deleted from the universe because you didn't like it. So if it wasn't a matter of like me not liking it, but was more so maybe it was the wrong time, maybe I'm just not in the mood for the genre and I was just trying it, I'm like, well, that can go back on the shelf, the proverbial shelf or my literal shelf, and I can try again. The one thing I am looking forward to with this being over now is being able to physically read more things. That was the other thing I was doing to keep up with the daily track is I read books from my TBR, like my physical TBR, but I went on Libby and I rented the ebook from the library to read them instead of just picking up the copy that I had here to keep that Kindle streak alive, which was nice sometimes. Sometimes I would do both. Like sometimes I would grab the audio from Libby. But when I was trying to keep my streak, I would grab the ebook, and that was more convenient because it's a lot easier to take my Kindle some places than it is to take a paperback or a hardback. And so I might continue to do that, but more so out of convenience for me rather than feeling like I need to force myself to keep hitting that number. I feel like that's pretty much all there is to it. Like, I don't know, I thought this would be longer and I would have more to say, but those are really the big things that affected me through that time. I don't think I'll stop using my Kindle. I think I'm a Kindle girly for, the foreseeable future, if not for forever. I am excited to dive into some more of my physical TBR. There are so many books. I just rearranged my shelves actually, and I have several books that I would love to read that I know I need to either read physically or in an ebook fashion. And if I have them physically already, why not? It means opportunity for highlighting and tabbing and all the fun annotation that I love to do. So I don't know, I'm excited to do that. I also wanted to tell you guys, I made a second channel. So for literally my entire adult life, I have been told that I have a very soothing voice and that maybe I should do radio, maybe I should do a podcast, maybe I should do, whatever and like utilize that. And I have had one of those Blue Yeti microphones sitting in my desk drawer since the pandemic because I bought it in 2020 thinking I was going to do something with it and then just didn't. Well, I pulled that out, dusted it off, and I have been using it to make some like soft-spoken ASMR type videos where I am reading you a bedtime story, and that has been a really fun thing for me to do. I haven't quite figured out the filming aspect of it yet. It's been the first one I did like me sitting in my reading chair, and I was reading on my Kindle, and I just kind of used that as like a time lapse, if you will, and then just threw the audio over it. For the second and third parts, because I broke the book up into 3 parts because there was no way I was going to sit and read for 2 hours straight, like on a video. But for the second and third parts, you actually see me like headphones on, mic with the pop filter in front, and that's what you're seeing as I'm reading. I also made sure to turn down the opacity of the video, so it's like kind of like has this like gray filter over it almost, because as a person who loves soft-spoken and ASMR videos before I go to bed, there's nothing worse than putting that on your iPad screen and they are in a bright apartment like this, making their video, and your screen, even with the brightness all the way down, is just blasting you in the face. So I turned that down so that like if you fall asleep in my video, you're not getting brightness in your eyes 10 minutes later when the video ends and you turn over or something. So I will link that below. I think I called it Relax with Rebecca ASMR or something like that. I don't know. I was like, well, the alliteration sounds fun. We'll try it. But that's been a fun little adventure. So I think I'm going to try to keep doing that. The first book I read was The Stories of Winnie the Pooh, which was fun to see that in print because I don't think I ever read them that way. I just watched the like cartoon as a kid, and it's interesting to see like little things that were changed here and there, but for the most part was pretty much the same. I don't know what I'm going to read next. I thought it would be important for me to pick books that are on the public domain so that I don't get like a copyright strike or something, because I don't want to like, read chapters from like a Lisa Jewell book or something. And number one, because they pay a lot of money to have audiobooks made, and you can get audiobooks for free from your library. So I don't want to like take away from that kind of thing. I might use it and do like little book recommendations though over there or something. Like just anytime I feel like doing like a quiet sit down video, I might sprinkle a little bit of that in there, but this channel's not going away. I have too much fun talking to you guys despite me uploading inconsistently here recently, but I am feeling some renewed invigoration now that I've had space to take that other creative idea and like make it real and put it somewhere. anytime that happens and it's like in my brain and I can't get it out, it like shuts down my creativity for other things until I get the thing out. And so now that that's out in the world, I hope you guys will enjoy it. I have a vlog sitting in my Final Cut that's been sitting there for, at this point, like 3.5 weeks that I need to edit and get on this channel for you guys. And with that being said, that's all I've got for you. Short and sweet little video for a Sunday. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you'll check out the other channel. And if you want to see anything from me, I would love to see that in the comments. Whether you're interested in my opinion in a book, if you've got an idea for a video, if there are things that you love seeing from booktubers that like maybe I've never done before, or you're like, hey, you used to do this, I wish you would do it again. Show me. Tell me. Leave in the comments. All right, guys. You guys have a good one. I'll see you in another video soon. Happy reading.